They were hidden from the world for years, their faces covered by masks and veils. The children of the most famous man on the planet, shielded from cameras, mystery wrapped in secrecy. But in 2026, Michael Jackson's three children are no longer hiding. Prince is 29 years old, Paris is 28, and Bigi, once known as Blanket, just turned 24. And what they're revealing now about their father is changing everything we thought we knew. Because for the first time, they're speaking with one united voice about the man behind the legend. The father who raised them alone. The parent who made them cover their faces. And the truth about what really happened inside those Neverland gates. This is their story. The one Michael Jackson's children are finally ready to tell. Let's go back to the beginning. Because to understand who these three are today, you have to understand just how unusual their childhood really was. Prince Michael Jackson was born on February 13th. His mother was Debbie Rowe, Michael's dermatology nurse, who later became his wife. But from day one, Michael made it clear. These children would be raised differently than any celebrity kids before them. The masks, the veils, the scarves covering their faces. To the outside world, it looked bizarre, cruel even. Critics attacked Michael relentlessly. Why are you hiding your children's faces? What are you ashamed of? But here's what no one understood. At the time, Michael Jackson had no childhood. By age 5, he was performing in nightclubs. By 10, he was Motown's golden child. By 20, he couldn't walk down a street without being mobbed. He never knew what it felt like to be anonymous, to be normal, to just exist. And he was determined his children would have what he never did. Paris Jackson explained this years later in an interview. She said her father told them, "If people don't know what you look like, you can have a normal life. You can go to the toy store, you can go to the movies, you can be kids." So that's what they did. Inside Neverland Ranch, those 2,700 acres in Los Olivos, California, Prince, Paris, and their younger brother, then called Blanket, lived in a bubble. A strange, magical, isolated bubble. They had a zoo, a movie theater, an amusement park in their backyard, private tutors, but very few friends their own age. Michael was their entire world. And then came February 7th, 2002. Michael Jackson dangled his baby son over a 4th-floor balcony in Berlin. The world watched in horror. The baby, just 9 months old, his face covered by a towel, held over that railing while fans screamed below. The media crucified him. Child services investigated. Even Michael's most devoted fans questioned his judgment. But Bigi, that baby on the balcony, has never spoken publicly about that moment. To this day, it remains one of the most controversial images in pop culture history, and one of the most misunderstood moments of Michael's parenting. Because here's what was really happening behind those Neverland walls. Grace Ruaramba, remember that name. She was Michael Jackson's children's nanny for nearly a decade, and she's one of the few people who truly saw Michael as a father. Grace has said that Michael was hands-on in ways that shocked people. He changed diapers, he made breakfast. Yes, Michael Jackson made breakfast for his kids. He read them bedtime stories every single night. He helped with homework. But he also did something else. Something that Prince, Paris, and Bigi only fully understood after he was gone. He prepared them for a world that would never accept them as normal. Michael homeschooled his children, but not just in reading and math. He taught them about culture, about history, about social justice. Paris has said her father would show them documentaries about civil rights, about poverty, about inequality. At ages when most kids were watching cartoons, Michael's children were learning about the world's problems. And he taught them about fame, the blessing and the curse. Prince, the eldest, has shared that his father would tell them, "You're going to have to work twice as hard as everyone else because of your last name. Some people will help you because of who I am, but others will try to tear you down because of who I am." Michael knew he was raising children who would inherit not just his fortune, but his burden. By 2009, the children were 12, 11, and 7 years old, and Michael Jackson was preparing for his comeback. 50 shows at London's O2 Arena, the This Is It tour. his children would finally see their father perform for the world. They attended rehearsals, they watched him work, they saw the perfectionism, the genius, the exhaustion, and then, on June 25th, 2009, everything changed. Michael Jackson died of acute propofol intoxication at his rented mansion in Los Angeles. He was 50 years old, and his three children, Prince, Paris, and Bigi, lost the only parent they'd ever really known. 11 days after Michael's death, the world watched his memorial service at the Staples Center. Nearly 1 billion people tuned in globally. It was one of the most watched events in television history. And then, something happened that no one expected. Paris Jackson, just 11 years old, stepped up to the microphone. Her voice trembling, tears streaming down her face. She said, "Ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine. And I just want to say, I love him so much." The world stopped. Because for the first time, we saw Michael Jackson's daughter without a mask. We heard her voice. We saw her pain. And in that moment, everything changed for these children. The anonymity Michael had fought so hard to protect it was gone forever. After Michael's death, custody went to Katherine Jackson, Michael's mother. The children moved into the Jackson family compound in Calabasas. Suddenly, Prince, Paris, and Bigi were surrounded by aunts, uncles, cousins, a massive, complicated, sometimes dysfunctional family they barely knew. And the media? They were relentless. Every birthday, every school event, every teenage mistake, it was all photographed, analyzed, criticized. Paris struggled the most. She's been open about this. By age 15, she was dealing with depression. In 2013, she attempted suicide. She's spoken about feeling lost, about not knowing who she was without her father, about the crushing weight of being Michael Jackson's daughter. But she survived, and she found something her father had given her all along. In 2026, Michael Jackson's three children have become three very different people, and yet they all carry pieces of their father in everything they do. Prince Michael Jackson, 29 years old, chose the path of business and philanthropy. He graduated from Loyola Marymount University with a degree in business administration. But he didn't go into music or entertainment in the traditional sense. Instead, he founded Heal Los Angeles, a charity organization named after his father's song, Heal the World. The foundation focuses on ending child abuse, hunger, and homelessness. Prince has said, "My father cared about children who were suffering. That's his real legacy. Not the records, not the awards, the compassion." Prince is quiet, private. He rarely gives interviews. In many ways, he's the most like his father, intensely protective of his privacy, but deeply committed to helping others. Paris Jackson, 28, went the opposite direction. She became a model, an actress, a musician. She signed with IMG Models. She appeared in films and television shows. She formed a folk band and released music that sounds nothing like her father's. It's raw, indie, stripped down. And she's covered in tattoos. She's openly bisexual. She speaks her mind on social media about politics, about mental health, about everything Michael's handlers would have managed carefully. But here's what's fascinating. Paris says she's honoring her father by being herself. In interviews, she's explained that Michael taught her to think independently, to question everything, to not follow what's popular, but to follow what's right. And in her own rebellious, artistic way, she's living exactly what he taught her. And then there's Bigi. Born Prince Michael Jackson II, but now going by Bigi to distance himself from the family name. He's 24 years old, and he's the most mysterious of the three. Bigi rarely appears in public. He almost never gives interviews. But those who know him say he's brilliant, especially when it comes to film and technology. He's reportedly interested in directing and producing, working behind the camera rather than in front of it. And he's the one who looks most like Michael. The resemblance is striking, which might be why he stays hidden. But here's where the story takes a turn. Because in 2024 and 2025, something started happening. Prince, Paris, and Bigi began speaking with one voice about something that matters more than anything else: their father's legacy. In 2019, the documentary Leaving Neverland was released. Two men claimed Michael Jackson had sexually abused them as children. The allegations were graphic, detailed, and devastating. The world split into camps. Some believed the accusers. Others defended Michael. The Jackson family fought back hard against the claims. But the children, they mostly stayed silent until recently. Paris has said in recent interviews, "My father was many things. He was eccentric, he was misunderstood, he had trauma from his own childhood that he never fully healed from. But he was not what some people have accused him of being." Prince has been even more direct. In rare public statements, he said, "We lived with our father. We knew him better than anyone, and we're telling you who he was." Bigi has remained mostly silent, but in 2024, he made his first public statement since his father's death. In a rare interview for a documentary project, he said simply, "I miss my dad, and I wish the world could have known him the way we did." But defending their father's legacy isn't the only thing uniting them now. There's something else, something that shocked even longtime Jackson family watchers. The money. Michael Jackson's estate has generated over $2 billion since his death. The children are primary beneficiaries, but they've also become protectors of how that money is used. In recent years, Prince, Paris, and Bigi have reportedly been more involved in decisions about their father's music, his image rights, and business deals. They've pushed back against ventures they feel don't align with Michael's values. Because here's what Michael Jackson taught them, above all else: protect what matters, protect your privacy, protect your values, and protect each other. And in 2026, that's exactly what they're doing. Prince is building charities in his father's name. Paris is making art that challenges the world. And Bigi is quietly working behind the scenes, preserving and protecting his father's creative legacy. They're no longer the masked children on the balcony or the kids crying at their father's funeral. They're adults now, carrying the weight of the most famous name in music history, living with scrutiny no normal person could imagine. But they're doing it together. 3 siblings, 3 different paths, one shared mission: to show the world who their father really was, not the tabloid version, not the caricature, but the man who made them breakfast, read them bedtime stories, and taught them that fame means nothing if you don't use it to help others. Michael Jackson's children in 2026, no longer hiding, no longer silent, finally ready to tell their truth. If you want more untold stories about the King of Pop, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for King of Pop. We're bringing you the stories no one else is talking about. Stay tuned, there's so much more to uncover.